Hello and welcome to day 20 of 100 days of VBA, already a fifth of the way to our 100 days. Today we're going to look at arrays. Now it's a natural extension from loops because arrays are really powerful ways of holding and interacting with multiple variable values. And you've seen them once before in this set of videos, and it's when we selected a whole range from our spreadsheet and looped through them. So that was an array of values from our spreadsheet. Today, we're going to look at how you can just define an array on its own, regardless of the spreadsheet itself, how to edit the values from them, and how to loop through them and play with those values as well. So let's define our function to start with. So today we're going to look at arrays. And now the first way to define an array, you start with our dim command, similarly as before, but this time we're going to say numbers brackets 4 as integer. And what that's doing is defining an array variable called numbers, and in there we have 5 integer values. And that's because we've said number 4 here, but actually in arrays and in coding in general, the first index of an array is always 0. So in this case, we've got our numbers array, which has the 0, 1st, 2nd, 4th, and 5th value. And you can do it with different variable types. So let's say dim string 2 as string. Well, let's make that names rather than a string. So we've got numbers and names. And in this case, we've got an array of string or text values, and that's actually got 3 values in it because, again, it's got value 0, value 1, and value 2. And now we can actually initialize the values within there as well, because right now they're just blanks or zeros for the integers, blanks for the strings. And so to set the values of those, we can write numbers, because that's the name of our array variable. And remember, the first value is the 0, is value 0. So you say numbers bracket 0 equals 10. And we can do that for all the values in there. So value 1 is, say, 20. Value 2 is 30, value 3 is 40, and value 4 is 50. There we go. And now you can also have an array of mixed variable types. So in this case, we've got our numbers, which is just integers, and our names, which is just string. We could also declare, so with dim, I'm going to say mixed array as variant. Now a variant lets us have an array of multiple values, and we define that and tell it it's an array by using the array keyword. So let's say mixed array equals array with a capital A, so that tells VBA that we're defining an array. And then here we can just put in our values. So let's say we want a mix. We say we want the number 10, we want hello world, and 3.14, the value of pi. So in there we've got an integer, a string, and a floating point number. So we've got an array but containing 3 different values and value types. Now, if we want to access any of these arrays and the values in them, similarly to how we set the values up here, we can just use the indexing system. So let's say message box, we've seen that before, so that's just going to give us a quick pop-up of the value, and we're going to say, let's look at the 3rd or the 4th value in our numbers array. Remember, that's index number 3. So index 1, index 2, index 3. So let's make that numbers 3. Now let's run our function. So there you go, it's given us 40. And if you look, that's what we declared as value 3 in our numbers array. Now let's say we fetch the first value of our numbers array, and that's 10. Then we update it, say numbers 0 equals 15. And then we expose that in a message box again. And now let's run. So the first time we do it, we've got 10. We hit OK. Then we've run the update here, and then we've got 15. So that's how you update the values in an array. And now we learned about loops before, so now we can do a for loop. So let's dim total as an integer. And now we're going to do a for loop to loop through our numbers array and add each of those values and then display the total. So let's say for I equals 0 to 4, because remember that's how many values we have in our numbers array: value 0, value 1, value 2, value 3, value 4. Then we're going to say total equals total plus numbers I. So we can use this I variable that we created for our loop to access the numbers array the same way that we did up here when we declared the numbers. Okay, so let's close our loop, and if you remember, that's next I. And then we'll say message box total and total. There we go. And remember, that's using our ampersand, so we're combining our text here and our total value. So in this case, we're going to get 3 message box pop up. We're going to pop up this one where we're going to get the original value from value 0 in numbers. Then we're going to get the updated value once we've changed it. And then we're going to get the total of all the numbers added together when we loop through using this for loop. So let's try it. So there we go. We've got 10. We've got 15. And then we've got 155, which, if you go back and do the maths, is all these numbers adding together, remembering that 10 has been converted to 15. So there you go. That's an introduction to arrays, how to declare them in different types, whether all the same value types together or using a mixed array, how to access and set the values, and then how to loop through it with a for loop.